but it's up to us to try to make them get it. And while constantly reaching out to the congressman is up to us, it's up to him and his staff to decide whether or not they care. And if they do not, it's up to us to resist and persist. Thank you.
Well, that's a hard act to follow. Thank you. That was, yeah. As a mom of somebody with a disability, I relate to a lot of what you were saying. And that's kind of what my story is about, too. As I said earlier, my name is Meganne Masko. I'm a mom. I'm a mom who believes very strongly in public education and the important roles that public schools play in the lives of children here in Indiana and all over the country. In the year 2000, my husband and I welcomed an amazing, perfect son into the world. I was so thankful to go into labor. It's not something you hear very often. Of course, you also don't hear of a Republican leaving the party after 21 years. So. I had a terrible pregnancy. There's a reason we only have one child. I had a terrible pregnancy. I'm not a good pregnant person. There had been worries about a serious genetic defect known as trisomy 13, which is how doctors say it, incompatible with life. We had numerous appointments with neonatologists and genetics experts, an amniocentesis and multiple scans. Genetically, our son was fine, but something was clearly not right when he was born. His pediatrician noticed that his startle reflex was overactive, to the point where she thought that he might be a drug baby. Tests revealed nothing out of the ordinary. He wasn't diabetic, he wasn't having seizures, he wasn't going for withdrawal. He was sensitive to touch, sight, and sound, and he couldn't feed him. He couldn't feed, he couldn't nurse. At 9 months old, his doctor told me something that I will never forget. I remember she sat me down, she was so kind, and she said, "Megan, I think your son is developmentally delayed." And I didn't know what that meant. I have a bachelor's in music and vocal performance. Now I have a master's of arts and a PhD and a postdoc, but back then I didn't have any of those things. All I knew was that that sounded bad. So a series of assessments and meetings with therapists and social workers followed, and he was enrolled in physical therapy and speech-language therapy. He had to work with a feeding specialist because he couldn't tolerate age-appropriate food in his mouth. Consequently, he was severely underweight, what they call failing to thrive. He would need a feeding tube soon if he couldn't get him to tolerate food. My husband and I owned our own businesses back then, and we didn't have insurance. Thankfully, our son qualified for a Medicaid waiver because of his failure to thrive. Medicaid and the Birth to 3 program, which is also known as Part C of the Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act, which is a federal law that Betsy DeVos does not seem to know. Part C of the IDEA paid for his therapy so that we didn't go bankrupt caring for him. Over time, it became clearer and clearer that he was not developing typically. He would build these large, elaborate piles of toys and pillows and tape and clothes and anything that was not nailed down. Every day, he would build these piles, and every night I would put them all away. He could only wear one kind of clothes. He could only tolerate one kind of bed sheet. He would scream whenever there was a loud sound. He would sometimes clamp his hands over his ears to block out the noise. He would have meltdowns that could last for hours if you violated his daily routine in any way. At the age of 3, we took our beautiful boy for a comprehensive evaluation at the University of Iowa Centers for Disability and Development. At the end of a very long day of testing, after a snowstorm, we heard that our son was on the autism spectrum. He needed more therapy and assistance. Because, or I'm gonna cry, because of the Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act, our son was able to receive the services he needed through the public schools in our area. We didn't have to pay for those services beyond what we already contributed to the tax base in our school district. He worked with a speech-language pathologist, an occupational therapist, a special education teacher, and others. The therapies provided to our son through Medicaid and Part C of the IDEA changed the course of his life and ours. He learned to sign and then to talk. He learned to eat, and he grew a lot. His sensory issues were managed, which meant that his brain could focus on learning how to read and write and add numbers. He made friends and developed personal interests. He continued to access services through the public schools until he was in 4th grade. At that point, he had made so much progress that we made a really scary decision, which was to discontinue his last remaining official supports and withdraw his Individualized Education Plan, or IEP. He's not needed one since. Our son is autistic, proudly so. He claims it as part of his culture. He actually wrote a paper on what it means to be a part of the autism culture for his honors English class here at Avon High School. He is an honors student. He wants to go to business school at IU and maybe even become a lawyer. The other night he said he's thinking about politics. He's an athlete, a musician, a friend. He has a job and contributes to the economy. He is happy, healthy, and productive because of amazing public schools, because of special education law, and because of Medicaid programs, not block grants. My request of Mr. Rokita, who does sit on the Early Childhood, Elementary, and Secondary Education Committee in the House, is that he oppose efforts like HR 899, which would terminate the Department of Education in its entirety, and HR 610, which would take tax dollars from public schools and redistribute them in the form of vouchers, as well as eliminate nutrition standards for school lunches. So just to make it clear, that would mean that the government could take our tax dollars and give them to religious schools if they wanted to, with little to no oversight. We need our public schools. Our children need our public schools, and frankly, more than anything, our democracy needs our public schools. About vouchers. 3 separate studies on voucher programs indicate that, contrary to what Ms. DeVos and Mr. Rokita think, students who use vouchers to attend private schools actually attain lower levels of achievement on standardized tests than do children who attend public schools. Our public schools outperform those private schools. Well, here's the kicker. The most recent study to show that students in voucher programs do worse on measures of achievement was actually published by the conservative think tank, the Thomas P. Fordham Institute. And the study was funded by the Walton Family Foundation. Yes, that Walton family. Both of which support voucher programs, but their own research showed that that money is wasted. Even the people who support these programs know that they don't work. So again, I say to Mr. Rokita, focus on supporting public schools and the children who attend them, rather than dismantling this important public good. My son, and millions of children like him, benefit from quality public educations. And frankly, I don't want to see my tax dollars used to undermine the intellectual capacity of future generations of American voters. Thank you.